Hello, it is your Sleepless Guide back with What If Hiccup Was a Healer, Part 6. I think this is going to be the final part of this series, at least the first movie. I know you guys like this, but this is going to be the final part for this movie at least, and then we can go on to the next movie, and then the next movie. But I gotta rewatch those movies and write up my script. So it's going to give me a little bit of time, so I'm going to make some new what-if content. But last time we left off, Hiccup was doing the basically trial where he was going to kill the Red Death. Well, not the Red Death. That's a little bit late. Kill the Flaming Dragon, and he did. He didn't kill it. He showed that you can do this with peace instead of rage. Killing them all is... And then he challenged his father, Stoic, to a duel to take away his spot as chieftain. Because he stated, at least, that Stoic is trying to drive them into extinction. Because instead of trying to understand the creatures and try to understand why are they doing this, they are not, and they're just killing them, even though they're intelligent and smart. So he duels. He loses that duel, but it's a close duel. Again, you should watch my previous video. Obviously, Hiccup passes out, but before he passes out, he hears this roar as it's Toothless, and Toothless obviously gets captured, and Hiccup wakes back up in a prison cell. His father obviously comes to him and tells him that he's a failure. Hiccup, I haven't said this, but Hiccup looks at him and says, "If I'm a failure, then what are you?" And he leaves. I'm going to give a little bit of props to, probably Gobbert, who figures out that, obviously a dragon can find out where the queen of dragons are, because they can kind of figure out that it was a type of queen or something like that. So that he was the one that probably, because in the movie it was Hiccup doing it as kind of like a mistake, but I think Gobbert and Stoic are smart enough to figure that out. But we see Hiccup, he's chained to the wall right now with his hands above his head, and his legs are chained together as he pulls himself up to the window itself as he sees Toothless strapped onto a ship and sailing off with a bunch of villagers, and he's yelling, "Stop him! Stop him! He's sailing to his death!" As no one can hear him and no one's there, as he's sitting there on the cold floor as he hears steps. He finally looks up. It's Astrid. Astrid looks at him. As Hiccup looks at it, and she doesn't talk for a long time. And finally, Hiccup breaks the silence. What are you gonna call me? Are you gonna call me a failure? I didn't succeed. Yes, I'm the first freaking Viking in this entire place that couldn't kill a dragon. As Astrid looks at him. First one to ride one, though. That's true. As we cut back, we cut to Stoic, and he's sailing as his hand is gripped onto his sword right now, holding on tight as he's not, as he's looking at the beast, as you know, he's controlling the boats with the beast, with Toothless's movement of head. As he looks over at his best friend, is his best friend looking at him. You disagree with my decision, don't you? Yeah, very much do. I think you're a dumbass. But you're my chieftain, my leader. I have to listen to you. And as he stands up right next to him, I'm your best friend. If I can't trust you, who can? As they're still sailing, they finally make it to the island. As they grab all of their stuff, as everything getting ready, they put on the they put everything up, spikes, catapults, everything up, as Stoic walks up to the massive gaping hole, as he walks up with a torch and his sword. As he looks at one of them, give me that. As he gets a bow and arrow, as he lights up, puts a little bit of gauze, and he lights it up and goes through the entire cave. As almost looks like hundreds of dragons. Hundreds. As they all fly out, as he puts his hand above his head, and he gets his sword ready to swing, but they fly and fly. And looks around as Gobbert looks at, well, that might not have been the worst thing. As they see fire coming at them, as both of them run down, as the mouth of the cave slams open, as this massive dragon comes out. As they launch the catapult, as they hit it, it just bounces off like nothing. As you hear Gobbert running, his steps are getting heavy as you go, as you hear like one foot like limping, as Stoke is yelling at everyone, retreat, retreat, don't go back to the ships, don't go back to the ships. As some of them go back to the ships, as the Red Death, boom, sets the ships on fire. As you see some of the men are burst in the frame screaming. As all he hears, as he hears the screaming, and Gobbert right behind him picks him the fuck up. Like, we must stand. Both of us. He's like, I can give you maybe 5. You need to retreat with the rest of them. Go to the rest of the island. And he grabs his shoulder. Then we give them 10. As they scream and they start spanging, as the Red Death looks at him, and all he hears is almost hundreds of flapping of wings. As he sees something hit the Red Death, he looks up, as Stoke looks up, as they see hundreds of dragons. But he looks closer, as Hiccup is standing there on a zippleback back. As he's standing there, as he looks at the rest of them, there's Astrid, there's Snotlout, there's the twins, and there's everyone's there. I'm just going to say everyone because you would know who the cast and crew is. And he looks at all of them. Do you got this? As he looks down, he sees Hiccup. He sees Toothless on the ship, slowly sinking. Because I got to save a friend. As he grabs the dragon, as he jumps off the dragon, as Snotlout looks. Is he a badass, or this is just some new shit? As Astrid says, nope. Same hiccup. We just noticed now. As, okay, everyone, start the battle plan. As they fly down, as you see Snotlout and the other guy, I forget his name. The fat one. I'm sorry. That's all I remember. I remember characteristics. He is a little chubby. They both hop off of their dragon onto the thing, and they start banging and banging and banging. And they keep every other dragon kind of away, so that doesn't affect them. Remember, Hiccup is smarter now because he's used to dragons a lot more than he is in the original canon. As you see, Hiccup jumps onto the flaming boat with his cloak billowing above. He grabs a knife and starts trying to slam it into the actual lock itself. As it starts to go down, as Hiccup is going down with it, trying to pick the lock or slam it open. And he's slamming it open and trying to hit it open with this knife of his. Not his sword, it's just his knife. As the water starts getting into his eyes and he can't see that well. As his hands start to feel it as he drifts unconscious, as he feels something grab his body, pulls himself up. He starts breathing. He looks down as he sees his dad jump back into the water and grab the lock. He grabs the lock and he looks at the dragon and rips the lock off, opening up the dragon as Toothless flies up. Hiccup looks at him, looks at the Red Death that is now getting struck by hundreds of dragons, fire, rocks, needles, gas, and smoke always going in, and it's about to eat Astrid's dragon as Astrid moves out the way as it snaps, and it gets one of the dragon's wings as it starts to fall down, and he looks. You ready? As he gets on Toothless's back, and he feels a hand go onto his wrist. He looks. Come back to me, please. As he looks at his father. I'm not going to promise that. I'll promise we'll win, though. As he, boom, the flying up, as he takes a step back. And he gets onto his knees and he starts to pray. As Hiccup starts flying forward, taking left turns as he hits the Red Death in the eye, burning it as it starts to freak out. As he looks down, he's like, remember, plan A. As he starts to fly up and he drops down, boom, boom, boom. 3 hits just right on the floor, forehead as he dips right below the wings as he's starting to rotate and go up above the tail, back onto like the back area as he starts to blast as the back of the entire Red Death all the way up to the head as he flies up. Good, you got his attention as you see the Red Death wings, boom, start to fly up as he whistles, as all the dragons start to almost disintegrate, start to go down to the ground, as also grab the wounded dragons and put them off to the side. As he starts to fly up higher and higher and higher. He looks at Toothless and he says, now, as they drop down, as he says, three shot, as it goes boom, 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 all over the wings as it starts to rip apart the wings itself. As he turns it, going into one of the wings. I just hit my phone. One of the wings, like the holes that they made as they go down, as the Red Death start to fly over, as he starts to burn. Fire starts coming out. He's like, shit. As he grabs the tail of Toothless and rips up, like the back part of the tail, rips up, and it flies him forward as the fire starts to rage on. As he grabs the cloak and covers Toothless but not himself. He feels the fire rages on, but he passes the Red Death as he grabs Toothless's neck and says, "Barrel!" as the wings fly, as they start to spin as Hiccup passes out for a couple of seconds. As the Red Death wings can't carry it, it smashes into the earth, killing. It's dead now. As Toothless goes into the smoke, as Astrid and every one of the villagers run, as they see Toothless alive, as they don't see Hiccup. As he drops onto his knees, and Astrid, you see tears start to well up in her eyes. As he finally says it, "I'm so sorry, my boy." As tears are welling up into his fingers, his hands are tensing. As you see Toothless smile and open up his wings as Astrid and both of them hug him like tightly, and finally Astrid says, "You saved him." And Gobbert came in. Well, not all of him. As he wakes up a week later, with everyone knowing that the dragons are fine. He had to explain to his father and to the rest of the villagers what he actually is. And they accept him. There's now a new position. Not just healer. They call it the King of Dragons. As this is where we're going to end off the series. Not the series, hopefully not the series. Hopefully you guys, you still like this, and I'll keep on moving forward movie by movie until the very end, obviously. But this is the end of part of the first book, so first movie series of How Do You Train Your Dragon. I will see you guys all later. Goodbye.